We're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And action. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie. This is our 94th Dinking Around.
Oh, yeah, episode number 94.
That's right. 94 was also a very good year. Anything crazy happened to you in 1994, Webby?
Yeah, lots of crazy things. I was 13. I feel like my body was going through some changes, and yeah, that's where I'll leave it.
All right. Well, glad it was a good year for you. Webby, do you like pickleball paddles?
I do. I like them a lot.
Do you like bad pickleball paddles or good pickleball paddles?
When I'm shooting episodes of Webby versus everybody, sometimes I do like bad pickleball paddles because I have my opponents use them. But when it comes to me, myself, and I like good paddles.
Well, so do I. And that's why I love the fact that we're partnered up with our friends over at Valere Pickleball. Let me tell you guys, they have a paddle that will suit everybody's needs, no matter where you're at in your pickleball journey. They've got a paddle for you. I love them. We've been playing with their paddles even before we partnered up with them. Webby, what have you been playing with lately?
Lately, I have been absolutely loving the Control 2 Forza.
Guys, if you want to get your hands on that or any of the other amazing paddles over at Valere Pickleball, go to Valere.com, use coupon code PB for life, and you're going to get what, Webby?
You're going to get yourself 10% off your order. And it's also going to show us some support in the process.
That's right. Show us some love. Get yourself some good pickleball paddles and gear. You can't go wrong. Valere.com, coupon code PB for life.
Yep, you definitely cannot go wrong, just like I hope we don't go wrong when we find the answer out to this question.
What in the world is in that drink? What you got in that drink?
Well, Webby, I'm glad you're dying to know what's in my drink because tonight I actually have a beer that I actually don't know if we've drank it on the podcast. Maybe we have and I'm forgetting. But this is from our friends over at New Belgium, and I got to take my green screen off here for a minute. And this is the Mothership Wit. So it is a wit beer with spices, and I have it in my fridge. I'm still clearing out all the beers that are in my fridge, and so I'm excited to try it out.
Nice. I have never had that one, so I am definitely interested to find out what you think about it.
Lots of speckles in there, a lot of floaters. So that's what I'll be drinking. What about you? What are you drinking tonight?
Well, you were drinking New Belgium beers the last two episodes, and now you're drinking another one tonight, so it kind of got me in the mood for a New Belgium beer. So tonight, I will be drinking the good old Fat Tire Ale, one of my favorites.
Great beer. I still have one or two of the old ones in my fridge, and I'm holding on to them. I'm aging them. So cheers, my friend.
Nice. Cheers. Cheers to everybody tuning in.
That beer has not aged very well.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, wit beers are typically supposed to be drank somewhat fresh. That one did not stand up to the test of time, but nothing to do with the beer. It probably has to do with the fact that it's been in my fridge for like 4 or 5 years, maybe longer.
Right. Yeah. Well, my Fat Tire Ale is very delicious as always, so I'm happy to be sipping on this throughout the episode.
Well, Webby, enough of this beer talk. I think it's time.
Now it's time for memes of the week. Yeah.
That's right. It's memes of the week. This is the hottest segment out of every single segment in the history of pickleball podcasts where you got two guys that have their logos on their shirts, that specific genre of podcasts. It's the hottest segment out there.
Yeah. In fact, if you do a Google search of the all-time hottest segments of pickleball podcasters who have shirts of themselves, this will be number one on that list, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Well, yeah. I'm dying to know what meme you got for us this week.
Oh, man, this one is hilarious. This comes from our good friends over at Friday Pickleball, and this is called Pickleballers Anonymous.
My name's Jake, and I'm a pickleholic.
Hi, Jake.
I told myself I'd only play 3 days a week. And 3 turns into 4, 4 turns into 5. Yesterday, my wife said it's either me or the game.
And how does that make you feel?
I guess I feel like I'll be free this weekend. You guys want to play?
And what about you?
Hi, I'm Scott.
Hi, Scott.
And apparently,
I make bad line calls.
But the thing is, I swear the ball was out. I just have better eyes than everybody. It was in. I'm not trying to cause drama, but if you hit the ball that close to the line, it's kind of on you, right?
Okay, are you willing to admit that sometimes you might just be wrong?
I'd rather die.
So relatable. I'm on my 5th or 6th wife since I started playing pickleball.
It's so funny. But there was a time, probably like when I was 2 years into pickleball, where I did have to have a discussion with my wife, and I kind of had to tone it down with how often I was playing because it was getting a little out of hand.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think everybody can relate to that. I don't relate to the line call thing, though, because
No,
I don't know. Definitely don't do that. That's
never made a bad line call ever.
no, that's a lie. But most of the time, we'll allow for a lot of leeway when it comes to line calls, for sure.
The only bad line call I remember seeing you make, we actually captured on video, and it was during one of the early episodes of Eddie versus Webby. And actually, it looked a little something like this. Still stings that I lost that match, and I blame that bad call. No.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was. That's the only reason you lost is because of that
Yep.
call.
Changed the whole course of the entire other 2 games we played.
You should have asked Leslie. She would have overturned it.
Yeah, I blew it. Oh, well. But that was my meme for the week. Thank you, Friday Pickleball. What do you got this week, Eddie?
Webby, there's this social media account out there. You might have heard of them. They're called Memes of Pickleball. They do incredible content. I never picked them for my meme of the week ever, but this one was great. And this is called "The Announcers Were Absolutely Unhinged on Championship Sunday."
Clean position for Ben Johns to gobble up that.
You got to make her pay if she's going to do crazy like that. And Georgia's got the hand speeds to handle that. Georgia, you're playing amazing. Let the wizard hit an overhead right there. Let's go, ladies. Let's go.
Georgia Johnson heard you say
And this is how you do that. If you want to go yourself, I got you.
11-8.
You just got, oh, wow. And nice wreck start here.
Two players on court not old enough to hold your.
No. Love that, because that was a discussion of the we just talked about. Great job by Staxford there, getting Patrick to off.
Oh, what a recovery. Hayden Patrick went.
Yeah, do you want to see what happens when no one eats your there's somebody back there?
Oh, my God. That was so good.
So good. So good.
I feel like from here on out, Georgia Johnson will be known as Georgia Bleepin' Johnson.
Yep. So good. Honestly, that was very well done. We know how hard it is to throw those together and how much time they take because we've done some unnecessary censorships in the past. In fact, I think we have links that we could throw down below to some videos that we have done in the past.
That's right. Yeah, we have dabbled in that in the past as well. But man, Memes of Pickleball nailed it with that one. That was so good. Great job.
And I honestly think commentators, what we should do is kind of like the Manning cast. We should have like a totally raw, uncensored, but totally anonymous broadcast where we don't know who's talking and they can just say whatever the hell they want and curse and do whatever. I think it'd be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
Well, guys, if you have a meme that you want us to review, definitely go ahead and throw it down in the comments below. We would love to take a look at it. Hope you guys enjoyed Memes of the Week, but Webby, once again, I think it's time.
Now it's time for Topics of the Week.
That's right. Topics of the Week, where Eddie and I each bring a pickleball-related topic to discuss. So, Eddie, I know I've kind of have taken over this segment for the last couple episodes. So let's start with you. What kind of topic you got this week?
I got a banger. And I'm not talking about somebody that only hits hard over and over again in pickleball, because that's pretty much everybody now.
Right.
I got a banger of a topic. And this has to do with the biggest breakup in pickleball in 2025 so far. And I think you know who I'm talking about, don't ya?
I do. I do. It's making major headlines all throughout the pickleball world. And yeah, this is huge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unfortunately for you, Catherine, really.
It is true. Annalie Waters drops Catherine Parenteau very recently after their loss in North Carolina. Webby, initial thoughts on the breakup?
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw it. I was not expecting it. Maybe others were, I don't know, but I definitely was not expecting that when it happened. What about you? Were you expecting something like this to happen anytime soon, or?
Do you remember when Annalie was still playing with her mom, Leigh Waters, before Leigh got injured at Nationals, and how everybody was asking the question about when is Annalie going to outgrow Leigh?
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
Well, I think for a lot of people who have been, as into pickleball as we are, have probably been asking that question for a little bit. So am I totally surprised? No. Am I surprised that it came so quickly and so almost erratically after a tough loss? Yeah, I am a little bit surprised by that. Their record together is still in the history books and might remain in the history books for, one of the most winningest teams in women's doubles in pickleball. So unless there's been a feeling from Annalie's side of, hey, this time is going to be coming soon, I got to time it right. Yeah, I'm surprised and a little bit shocked that it happened so abruptly.
Yeah, I think that's what was so surprising to me about it was because they had such a great record together, and then they have this loss, and then it just seemed like you said, very abruptly after this loss. Yeah, I don't know if this was something that was in the works for a little while, and it just happened to be after this loss that it got announced, or if the loss had a big part of it happening. I don't know. But yeah, I was definitely surprised when I heard about it.
Well, I think the question we need to be asking is, if they won, would this have happened on Monday, or would they have continued to play together? What's your thought?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was. I can't imagine it would really happen that abruptly to where like immediately after they lose that this big announcement would be made and all that. I mean, I feel like you know a little more about the inner workings of the pro pickleball world. Like, does that seem unheard of to you for it to be what seems like a knee-jerk reaction to a loss for that to happen so quickly if it wasn't already planned?
I do. And just to provide context to anybody listening out there who maybe doesn't follow pro pickleball as much as us. So recently they had the PPA North Carolina event, which looked like an absolute horrible venue, by the way. It did not look good. And I know a lot of people complained about it, and players were dropping out of singles because they didn't want to play on those shitty rollout courts. Anyway, that aside, Annalie and Catherine, who have been a dominant team in women's pickleball for a very long time, 96% winning percentage. They had 41 matches won in a row at one point. In 31 gold medals. Like, you're talking about a dominant force for years in the sport. They lost to Tyra Black and Georgia Johnson. Now, Tyra Black and Georgia Johnson are a solid team. Are they as consistent as Annalie and Catherine are? Absolutely not. But I was not surprised when I heard that they won. I was surprised to hear that Annalie and Catherine lost, but when I saw that it was Tyra and Georgia, I wasn't surprised by that. They're a fantastic team. So this happened on a Sunday. They lost on Monday. We got a social media post from Catherine, basically, saying that she's had a great time playing with Annalie, that everything's all good. In fact, here's what she said. Annalie, I can't express enough how grateful I am for the time we spent together on the court. From the laughter to the hard-fought matches, every moment has been unforgettable. You pushed me to grow as a player, and I'm so thankful for our partnership. Wishing you nothing but success as you continue to shine in your pickleball journey. And then it was just some pictures of memorable moments for them over the years. So Catherine, obviously being who Catherine is, handled this like a champ, got out in front of it, made it known to the public, took the wind out of the sail of any haters before the rumor mill started. That right there is a professional athlete. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think she handled it with class. I've always been a big fan of Catherine's, and yeah, I totally agree.
This is the kind of media training that I think pro pickleball should have, and they should have people that are helping them with their public image, like Catherine. Well, I don't know. Maybe Catherine just came up with this on her own, and if she did, I wouldn't be surprised. But I also know that she's got Athena there who's helping to manage her. So all I got to say is, great job, Catherine, and how you handle that. Get in front of it. Get in front of the haters. Take the wind out of everybody's sails, and put it out there to where now you're going to have a lot of people knocking at your door that would want to play with you. And so I guess that goes into the next segment of this, Webby. It's been announced that Anna Leigh and Anna Bright are going to be partnering up. I don't know if it's for the rest of 2025, but it's for a good chunk in the near future of events together. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is very interesting, and I'm excited to see how they do. I like both of them as players. They are both extremely, extremely talented, so I'm kind of excited to see how they do.
They're both very intense players, right? And a little bit different style out there, but still same level of intensity of their own creation. Do you think that that's going to work well for them? Because if you look at Anna Leigh and Catherine, they played off each other. Catherine's a little bit more of a softer presence. There is nothing soft about Anna Bright when she is out on the pickleball court. And I mean that with the utmost respect in the world for her. Do you think that that's going to be a good chemistry, a good energy amongst them?
That's the thing that I am most interested and curious to see, because I don't know, because I feel like when you have two people that are very energetic out on the court, it's sometimes that could clash. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could see that going either way. I could see it to where maybe that combination is going to work great for them together, but then I could definitely see it going the other way to where they could butt heads, maybe get annoyed with each other. And yeah, I feel like it could take a couple tournaments to work things out. So I don't know. I'm definitely interested. I will absolutely be tuning in to the first tournament they do together. But yeah, very, very interested to see how their first tournament together goes, and I'm excited about it.
Me too. I think it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to have to work out some kinks. They're going to have to figure out some things on the court. But I think once they do, this changes women's pickleball. Not only do you have what I would consider to be the two top females now partnering together, the two most dominant females out there, but now you took away the competition that Anna Leigh and Catherine had, right? Because don't get me wrong, Rachel Rohrbacher is an incredible player, and whoever she partners up with, I still think they're going to do incredibly well. But that team was primarily ran by Anna Bright. Their success came primarily from Anna Bright. And so now Anna Bright and Anna Leigh together, are we just going to have another Ben and Anna Leigh situation on our hands where it's just going to be very one-sided for a long time? I don't know. I mean, one of the reasons that professional women's pickleball is my favorite one to watch is because of the fact that it is fiery. Although Catherine and Anna Leigh were dominant, their matches weren't always dominant. A lot of times it came down to game 5 in the finals, and they were fun to watch. Now is it going to be fun, or is it going to be kind of like, they're in Championship Sunday every single time, and they're dominant and nobody can come close? What do you think?
Yeah, I hope it's not that case where they are just so dominant that nobody can touch them, because like you said, when that happens, that can get kind of dull and not as exciting. I like it when it goes to a game 5. I like when they're good close matches to where you really don't know how they're going to end until the final game of a match happens. So yeah, I mean, only time will tell, but I do hope that they're not too crazy dominant together.
All right, so now you have Catherine, now you have Rachel. Do they team up? Or does Catherine try to go after someone like maybe, I don't know, one of the Kawamotos? Maybe makes a run at Georgia, Paris Todd? I don't know. That's the thing. Catherine can play the right and the left, but in women, she's become so accustomed to playing the right. Can she switch to be that dominant player? Or does she need to find a dominant female player to be successful? I don't think that's Rachel. So where does she go from here? I don't know. Time will tell. But all I got to say is I'm happy that things ended amicably. I hope that behind the scenes, it didn't get nasty or toxic. I think Catherine handled it like a champ. And I think we are going to see some really exciting and crazy stuff happen with Anna Leigh and Anna Bright on the court, at least for the next few months, that I'm excited to see.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. So we'll have to stay tuned to find out how that goes.
That's right. Let us know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on this? Does it make sense? Did you see it coming? We'd love to hear it. Let's have a conversation down in the comments. Throw it down there. But Webby, that's my topic. What is your topic this week?
So on the previous episode, Sleeves joined us, and he and I had a discussion about how we kind of miss the grassroots pickleball that we all fell in love with. You and I have been involved in this sport for over 8 years now, and it had a different feel to it back then compared to how it is now. And this can apply to both the pro pickleball world and the amateur pickleball world. But it got me thinking, did pickleball get too big too fast to where it has lost some of the charm that it used to have? I kind of want to start off talking about the pro pickleball world. I know, like, when it first got started, we absolutely loved pro pickleball. We couldn't get enough of it. There was only a few events each year. And fast forward to how things are now, where there are just so many events, and even just the state of pro pickleball in general, comparing it how it is now to how it was when it first got started. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think pickleball got too big too fast to where it isn't quite as exciting as it used to be?
Yes. Let me rephrase that. Yes. The growth in pro pickleball, I feel like, is going to be to the demise of the sport, because it wasn't an organic growth. It was forced. It was pushed together by way too much money from investors who were getting in because they thought it would be a fun sport, and it was done very irresponsibly. So yes, I do think that the growth of how fast pro pickleball has blown up is to the demise of the sport. And there's a few reasons, but one that always resonates with me is, do you remember back in the day when you used to get so excited when the US Open was about to happen because you'd finally get some good live TV or live pickleball on TV, or any of these other events that you knew were going to be live streamed, even if it was Gizmo and Scott Golden from their iPhones or Lauren McLaughlin, right? Like, I used to get so excited when I knew that we were going to be able to watch this content because it wasn't in your face all the time. There was a huge demand for it, and the demand significantly exceeded the supply. Now, I don't give a crap if a PPA event is on. I mean, I might tune in every little bit, but I ultimately don't really care. I guess I do get kind of excited when MLP's about to start, and I can watch that, but it's just saturated, and it's the same old crap every single event. It's production quality issues. It's no line challenges. It's all the same crap that makes it look amateur, where if you would have grown the sport organically, all of those things would have grown in place, and you wouldn't be spending millions of dollars every year on player salaries with very little return from sponsors and have to cut all these expenses just to make ends meet. So yeah, short answer, it is to the detriment of pro pickleball that it grew so fast. I'm sorry, Webby, this is your topic, but obviously you can tell I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah, I had a feeling this would get you a little riled up. I know it's a touchy subject, but yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. And when it first got started, man, it was just so exciting. You and I always tuned in. We would talk about it afterwards, sometimes during it. And I knew if there was a pro pickleball event, even while I was working, I would put it on one of my monitors at work. And it was just so exciting to watch. And also, like you mentioned, how US Open and then Nationals, we knew that those two were going to get like the really high quality professional coverage. It seemed like a grand event. Those were like the Super Bowl events of pickleball each year. I absolutely loved it. And then when APP formed and also PPA, when they first formed, we were both very excited about both of the organizations because they were focusing on different things. Like, I feel like the APP, they focused more on the overall experience. They wanted a really smooth tournament. They really focused on a good amateur experience on top of the pro pickleball tournament that was going on, which was really nice. Whereas when PPA first started, they wanted to do like more grand scale type of productions. They wanted really good venues. in kind of like newsworthy, headline-worthy type of events. And at first, that was really cool, and I thought there was room for both of them. But I feel like then PPA, they kind of got on the greedy side, and they were like, "Oh, we want to be the Pro Pickleball Association." So that's when they kind of decided, you know what, we're gonna approach the top pros in the game, like a handful of them, offer them exclusive contracts for the PPA, and from that moment on, it was going downhill because, like we talked about back then when that first started happening, like the sport was way too new to make it to where you were separating the small amount of high-level pro players that were involved in the sport. So that right there, that was a huge mistake that PPA made, and we called it right from the beginning, and here we are years later, and they've proved us right that was just a really bad thing for the sport. And I feel like PPA always focused on the wrong things. All they really cared about was just how can they get these really big venues, how can they get on social media, just things that are trending. I feel like they just cared about trending. They cared about clout, stuff like that. They didn't care about the quality of the production that they were putting out there, because that's another thing that just absolutely sucked from the get-go is the PPA production quality. There were times where they had you help them, and then that's when it was good, or anytime Boxcar Productions was involved, it was really good, but they never really focused on that enough to where it would stay good.
Yeah, it was always one of the first things to get cut. To kind of go even further with that too, I always go back to, I think it was a JFK quote about a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And I felt like pickleball was in a position to where if everybody in the pro area felt that way, there would have been room for everyone to have a piece in this pickleball landscape. And I think that we all would have been better off where PPA going the exclusive contract route basically made it to where we're going to control. We want to hold on to our players. We don't want to let them go to another tour. We see this competing tour as competition and not a way to be able to kind of work together and bridge that gap. And that came down to egos on both sides. I will say that's not just purely a PPA thing. There were some egos on the APP side that also led to that being kind of a divisive feel amongst the organizations. So it wasn't just one side, although I do think it was predominantly on one side, and some of the initial decisions to lie about what the payouts were for these events, right? Mislead people on how much money was being paid out in prize pool, exclusive contracts, just, flat out lying. Those decisions made on the PPA side, I think, played a big role in it. There were some egos on the APP side that also were resistant, that would have made it to where it wouldn't have been possible for some sort of partnership or at least cohesive working environment.
Yeah, and I totally agree. In fact, at the beginning, there were times where APP was almost more annoying about it at the beginning because they really wanted to push we were the first ones to create a tour and blah, blah, blah. And they were focusing on things that who cares? Just focus on putting on a good product. Don't worry about what the other people are doing. Make sure your product is good. And if they want to copy what you're doing, so be it. But just don't focus on that. And it got to a point where I was almost supporting PPA more for a little bit, but that quickly changed because then once they started doing what they do, it became a total shit show.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, right? You and I both came from a corporate world where, numbers and money and, all that crap is secondary to just focusing on doing the right thing and putting on a good product. And I think if both tours would have done that, we'd be in a very different spot right now.
Yep, I totally agree. To make a long answer short, yes, we think that pickleball got too big, too fast when it comes to pro pickleball. And I was saying that the same question can apply to the amateur side. And I don't think it's as drastic. I do think in some ways the charm isn't quite the same as it used to. It doesn't have the backyard barbecue feel to it that it once had. But honestly, I like the fact that amateur pickleball has exploded to where there's a whole bunch of new facilities, a whole bunch of places to play now, because when I first got into it and I had to play a majority of the year indoors in a gymnasium, I would not want to go back to those days. So I love how far amateur pickleball has gone, but I do think that the threat of it not being as charming and as fun as it used to be when we first got into it is there. I think mainly just because with anything, once something becomes super popular, you get a whole bunch of new people coming into it that maybe ruin it for the others. Like they're just a lot more ego is involved. And then just the way that the game has changed in regards to everybody's a banger now, where when we got into it, like unless you had a really good soft game and were really good at dinking and had good control, like back then, that was what dominated at the higher level. But now it's just hit the ball as hard as you can and hopefully you can hit the person before the ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on the amateur side? Like, do you think that has lost some of its charm, or do you think that's still in a good place, or do you think it's in a great place right now where we're at?
Yeah, I mean, I know that I'm going to come across as somebody who's very negative about pickleball, and I don't want that I don't want that interpretation out there. That's not the case. But yeah, I don't enjoy going to open play nearly as much as I used to for a number of reasons. I think number one, because yeah, a lot of people are on the pickleball train. Number two, the way the paddles have evolved and make it to where you can just smash the hell out of the ball, it makes it less fun for me because it takes away a lot of the skill and a lot of the things that when you and I were starting up were really taught to us as being important. Now, get the right paddle in your hand, have some sort of coordination, and know how to hit topspin, and you can show up and you can compete with people who have been playing for years. That's not fun. Like, to me, that takes away from the funness of the sport. I'd rather go play with beginners who are trying stuff than go and just play with people who just rip the ball over and over again and have some sense of the game. It's not nearly as much fun. I'm also a little bit worried about this becoming a bubble. Think about how many racquetball courts there were when we were growing up and how many there are now that are still, profitable businesses. I don't know the numbers, but I can guess that it's probably a fraction of what it was in the 80s and 90s. And I'm concerned that pickleball is going to go that way. We're already seeing some of these pickleball facilities come and go. And it seems like the ones who are holding strong are either the small boutique ones or the ones that have a built-in following and focus on doing things other than just pickleball and make it a community type of feel, or it's one of the franchises like the Pickler or Ace Pickleball. Those ones are working, but you're hearing stories about a lot of these ones that are shutting down because they can't find a way to become profitable. And I think the reason being is because for so long, pickleball players had this expectation that pickleball was a sport that was either free or very inexpensive to play. Because you could go play at your community courts, you could go play at your church, you could go tape a tennis court up at your courts. So everybody thought it should be free. And then now when you're trying to charge somebody like $20 to be able to come and play, they're going to resist that. And so I think that you're going to see a bubble. And once that bubble bursts, right, now it's going to start to fade very quickly. An example would be if I play with these group of guys every week and now all of a sudden two of them don't play anymore because it's too expensive or they don't care. Well, I don't have the people that I'm used to playing with. I'm probably going to stop playing a little bit. So once you start to get a downward trend, that's a slippery slope and it's going to drop off very quickly. And I'm afraid that if we grow too much, too fast, and we don't get our arms around the equipment side of things and make these paddles more fair to play with, we're going to end up in a bad spot.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's definitely a fear of mine. And I hate to say it, but it's becoming more of a reality than a fear. And I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it either, Webby.
But I still love the sport, and I still have a great time with it. But what's one thing, going back to one of the things you mentioned, when it comes to open play, it's kind of sad how anytime I go to open play and I do implement a lot of dinking and the soft game, almost every time I do that, the opponents are like, thank you for not just bashing every shot. Thank you for actually dinking. It's been a long time since I've seen anybody dink the ball. And it's like, that's not good.
No, it's not. It really is it's gonna deter a lot of people from wanting to learn the sport too.
Yeah, so many times when I go to open play now, like one of the things I absolutely love about just doing like drop in or open play, I actually like seeing people that are newer to the game. I know a lot of people that have been playing for a while, they can't stand playing with new people, but I still get a kick out of new people discovering pickleball, seeing how fun it is and stuff like that. And it's to the point now where so many times when I'm watching people play, especially on the newer side, of course, they're going to pop the ball up. Anybody that's new, popping up happens a lot. And there's a lot of people that play, they don't care. They'll drill the ball at the person that popped it up or their opponent. So I'm constantly seeing people just like duck and cover when they're playing and stuff like that. I never used to see that when I first got into pickleball because people had the common decency not to attack a new person like that who can like you just take it easy on the people that are new to the game, would you? But so that's one thing, and then just the paddles are just so fast. Like maybe another newer person's on the other side and they just don't realize how hard they're hitting the ball back at the person. But it's becoming to where people are starting to get scared of the pickleball drilling them so hard, especially close to the face area and stuff like that. So yeah, stuff like that just really sucks to see.
Yeah, no, I see it and I agree. It's changing.
But we can all help with this by just try implementing the soft game again. Try not to just don't drill absolutely everything. You don't have to be a banger all the time. It's fun to dink around.
It is fun to dink around. I'll give you that.
But yeah, I don't know. Are we starting to sound like the old guys that want our kids to get off the lawn?
I think we're there. I think that that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
We're already there. I do already like to go to bed super early, so I'm totally comfortable with becoming an old man complaining about people being on my lawn. Get off my lawn, kids.
But yeah, that is my topic for the week. I thought this was a fun episode. This is the first time in a while where we both had a topic. I definitely like being able to just discuss some topics like this.
I agree. It is fun. Do you know what else is fun, Webby?
What's that?
Staying hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like to stay hydrated?
Well, the thing I do most frequently is I will mix a packet of Electrolyte Supreme, the fruit punch flavor. I will pour a packet into my bottle of water. I will drink some of that when I first start playing pickleball. And then after I play for a couple hours, I am usually sweating so much that I need to restore more of my electrolytes. So then I will drink another mixture of that concoction.
Well, Electrolyte Supreme is one of the many amazing products from our friends over at Jigsaw Health. They have so many products, keep you hydrated, keep you feeling good, because at Jigsaw Health, it's fun to feel good. You can go over to jigsawhealth.com. You can use coupon code PB for life 10 to get what, Webby?
You'll get yourself 10% off your order, and it's also going to show us some support in the process. So we thank you very much for that.
Yes, we do. Jigsawhealth.com, PB for life 10.
That's right. But this is episode 94 of Dinking Around. Can you believe that?
I can't.
But we can't end the episode until we find out Eddie's
Closing thoughts.
So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that if you become really obsessed with pickleball, you can join Pickleballers Anonymous. We also learned that the PPA commentators became completely unhinged in North Carolina. We discussed the biggest breakup in pickleball history so far in 2025. And we asked the age-old question, has pickleball grown too big, too fast? Well, that's going to do it for us. Webby, this has been an amazing episode number 94. Can you believe that we've made this many dinking arounds?
I can't. We are only 6 episodes away from the 100th episode of Dinking Around. That's after we did around 100 episodes of the original Eddie and Webby podcast. It's crazy. Way too many episodes.
Way too much content with us out there. But guys, you've been incredible down in the comments below. I want to thank you guys so much for that. So please keep the comments coming. We'd love to have discussions with you. Even if it's stuff that you think is going to piss us off, just throw it down there. We don't care. And while you're at it, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't so far, hit that bell notification so that way you're going to get notified when all the amazing new content we provide is out there. Anything else that I need to shamelessly plug, Webby, because I feel really dirty right now, and so we might as well keep piling it on.
Just if you didn't subscribe to the YouTube channel, do it. If you didn't like our podcast on the audio formats, do that. Leave us a review, hopefully 5 stars. I've heard people say that a lot on other podcasts. I feel like we've never done that. So let's start doing that now too. Leave us a review, a 5-star review on the audio version of the podcast.
Yeah, and buy a bunch of our stuff and go to all our sponsors and just give. Just keep giving and giving and giving. Please, just give.
I hate it. I hate doing this.
Yeah, it feels dirty. But anyway, on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
Well, we're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh yeah.